What if I told you that most of what you believe about freedom is an illusion? That every choice you make, what you wear, what you eat, even who you fall in love with, might not be a choice at all, but a reflex, a program, a story you've been reciting so long you think it's yours. Sounds dramatic? Maybe. But stay with me. Because today we're peeling back the curtain on one of the deepest questions philosophy has ever wrestled with. Are we truly free? Now, before you say, "Of course I am, I do what I want," let's zoom out. What made you want it? Was it desire, conditioning, something from childhood, or something even bigger, ancestral memory, divine intention, the echo of a forgotten self? You see, we talk about freedom like we understand it. But freedom is a slippery thing. It hides inside us, behind ego, behind impulse, behind the lie that we're small. But what if we're not? What if we're not just passengers in this life, but creators? What if we're not just human, but divine? Throughout history, philosophers have tried to define freedom, to map it, measure it, explain it. But most never dared to say the thing that mystics, shamans, and sages have whispered for millennia. You are a god in human form, a fragment of infinite intelligence, a spark of the universe, walking around with amnesia, trying to remember what it is. But we forget. Because forgetting is part of the game. Let's rewind. Ancient Greece. Socrates believed freedom wasn't about doing what you want. It was about mastering yourself. Living by truth, not temptation. Reason, not reaction. To be free, he said, was to align with the soul, not the ego. Plato believed we lived in shadows, illusions, and that freedom meant stepping out of the cave, seeing reality, remembering our divine origin. But we didn't listen. We built societies, systems, rules. Fast forward to Rousseau. Man is born free, he said, and everywhere he is in chains. Chains we can't see, cultural chains, emotional chains, economic chains. But the worst ones, the ones we forge ourselves out of fear of our power, because if you are divine, if you are truly free, then you are also responsible for your thoughts, your impact, your potential. And that's terrifying. So we trade in our godhood for comfort. We conform. We shrink. We say, "I'm just human." But that's not true. You are not just human. You are a universe expressing itself in a temporary form. A cosmic force with a name, a story, a nervous system. And every moment you are creating, through thought, word, and choice. That's not poetry. That's physics. Consciousness affects reality. And yet, we walk around like victims of circumstance. Why? Because we've forgotten who we are. Because we let the world tell us freedom is consumption. That more choices mean more liberty. But choice without awareness is just noise. True freedom isn't doing whatever you want. True freedom is remembering that you are the one who wants. Neuroscience shows us that many of our decisions begin before we're aware of them, that our subconscious leads and our conscious mind justifies. But even in that, there is space, a gap, a pause, a divine breath where you can step in and say, "Wait, is this really me?" Because while your body is an instrument, you are the musician. The existentialists understood this. Sartre said we are condemned to be free, meaning no one's coming to save us. No script, no destiny, just raw, terrifying possibility. But that's what gods do. They create from chaos. Camus looked at the absurdity of life and didn't despair. He said, "Rebel. Live in defiance of meaninglessness, not by hiding from the void, but by staring into it and saying, 'I will make my own meaning.'" And Nietzsche, he dared us to break free from herd thinking, to stop living by second-hand morality, to become the author of our own values. He called this the Übermensch, not a superhero, but a being who transcends limits, who remembers their divine nature and lives accordingly. Now, let's come back to you. Maybe you weren't raised to believe you're divine. Maybe you've been taught that power lies outside you, in systems, in saviors, in the sky. But I'm here to remind you, you are the sky. You are not just the wave. You are the ocean. You are not just reacting to life. You are life. And yes, you've been shaped by parents, trauma, society. But none of that defines you. It's just the clay. You are the sculptor. So here's the paradox. You're not totally free. You're influenced by biology, history, momentum. And yet, you're free enough to awaken. Free enough to choose differently, to rewrite the story, to remember that you are not a cog in the machine. You are the consciousness behind it. And maybe, just maybe, you are a God remembering its name. So let me ask you again, are you free or just free enough to remember?